let's get into it. So, Eis Gimel of Shir Hashirim, the first mimer. So we were discussing before, we said Shir Hashirim, Shir Hashirim, we said there's two inyanim. You have the inyan of a chasen, you have the inyan of a kala. Chasen is going down a level, and we said it's about how Hashem relates to the world to some extent, and kala is also about how, first we started off with kala, the kala is Yidden, and they're yearning for Hashem, and then we said for Hashem, the way that he relates to the world is through many different levels of concealment and contraction. And so ultimately you have Hashem in the broader sense of how he relates to the world, that everything is like equal to him, and then you have also a more narrow aspect of how he relates to each and every individual detail of the world. And ultimately, all of these details come together, as in the two levels of Chassan correspond to the two levels of Kala, and it's supposed to be that you have a higher level, lower level, and we said that this also corresponds a little bit to the idea of a shiur. We started touching on the idea that we said that a song always resolves to the note that it starts on, that everything, all of the nuances that you have in a song ultimately is supposed to lead back to the same point after some fluctuations. So that's where we're holding so far. So, this is what it means when it says in the Pasuk, the song of songs, which is Tishleme. What does it mean, the song of songs? So we say Kishir, a song itself. So a song is the concept of being included in Rasi and Shev. That means that you have a fluctuation up and down. And Lamaila, this refers to the concept of Mati and Lemati, of the Malachim, that they reach up, they yearn for Hashem, but they're not able to reach. So that fluctuation between reaching out, desiring to be connected to the divine, and then not being able to reach it, is this idea of a fluctuation. That the level of Mati comes from the level of the mouth of Adam Kadmon, a very Kabbalistic concept which is beyond the scope of this mimer. It's in parentheses, so when it's in parentheses, I think it's not a given, but it's often just beyond the scope of just more Gersidic mimer. So, וזהו שיר חולו מנשתיק הספיעו, ועין השקוסו ועוד מעניין המשחש בכנס מתי ולא מתי בביר עניין מוצאיהם למעשיהם חולו עין שם. So, וזהו שיר השירים, this is what it means when it says the song of songs. What does it mean? פירוש שיר שממנו מקבל מהשירים של המטה. It's the song from which all songs down here, that is to say below it, receive from. You have many levels of shir that go from below to above. The source of the creations, which gives it vitality and causes it to exist, something from nothing, which is the level of Malchus of Atzilus. So it rises and it's included with nullification in the level of shir, in this level of shir, the desire to reach out and to touch the divine and to go back down. So even after the divinity is enclosed in the worlds of Bria, Yitzira, and Asiyah, the lower worlds, so the elevation, through the elevation of the worlds, when these worlds are elevated, it's also called the level of shir. Like when you have a song, when the singer sings or when the player plays, you have many sounds that they go up and down with elevations and descents. You have many elevations until no end, and everything is at the level of shir. This is what it says in Mishnah and Shabbos, that it literally means that all animals that have a color are able to go out and go in, or go out and be drawn with their colors, which is to say that animals can wear colors on Shabbos. But the Alter Rebbe's pshat is that all Bali shir, anything that's affected by song, that it's able to go up and it's able to be drawn with song. So all of these songs, which is to say songs which reach from below to above, they're called shira, with a hey that designates them as being lashon nekeva. Which is to say that's like Hashir Azais, Bechinas Kala, it's the level of Kala. Bechinas Kala, Nimshach, Bechinas Simchas Chasan, Mehalim Nagilim, Simchas Chasan, Im HaKala. So it starts off with the level of Kala, which we said before. The level of Kala is that we're down here, we're yearning for Hashem with everything that we have, throwing away everything that we have, and then also we need to reckon with the lower level of, okay, we're still stuck in the world, and we need to reckon with that and connect to Hashem, notwithstanding, and not only notwithstanding, but with that. So that's the level of Kala, it's the level of the feminine share. And from that is drawn the simcha of the chasam, that Hashem is able to have descent into the world, that we explained in Noise Base. Pirush alidei hakala, alidei bechinas hashira, behei bechinas kala, And the idea of kala is that through the level of shir and the 5 levels of kala, nimshach hey b'chinas kala in the hey, as in shir with the hey, the feminine level, which is the level of kala, nimshach shir elyon b'chinas dechar. You're able to draw the upper shir, the shir of Hashem, the level of dechar. Who am shachas iri in sefer sivukol almun b'chinas shmei agadol taimei ater nana deraisa b'chinas eneg elyon l'stavish v'tera. That is to say, as we explained a little bit more in this base, it's drawing from iri in seif, which surrounds all worlds. That is to say that all of the worlds are equal to Gabi from the level of shmei agadol. That ultimately it's able to be drawn down into the world, the level of taimei tera, the song of the tera, the upper pleasure that ultimately it's able to be invested in tera, and through that come down into the world. After Leimer Pirish Shema Yisrael Shir. You could say that the explanation of when we say Shema Yisrael, we mentioned before, the level of Shema Yisrael is a very high level of giving yourself to Hashem. You could say that the word Yisrael actually is comprised of the words Shir and Kel, same letters. Because in the level of Yisrael, in the souls of Yidden, you have this level. You have the level of Shir and the level of Shirim. You have both the upper song and the lower song. So in Shema Yisrael itself, you have an allusion to both of these levels, even though Shema Yisrael itself is, we typically say, the higher level. I like one revere al pasuk center eno v'zer parshas vayechi vayin mashnas paralel meinin yishur mashkasu parshas balok al pasuk v'leira amal v'Yisrael chulu. So far good. Asher l'shleimei. So what does it mean when we say the Song of Songs and Asher L'Shlema? What does that mean? Like the concept that it says that Hashem makes peace in His upper realms. And the Medrash says, Michol Sar Shel Mayim, Gabriel Sar Shel Eish, the Beis Afachim Chulu, that in the upper realms you have Michal, the minister of water, and you have Gabriel, the minister of fire, and even though water and fire are opposing, they're in opposition to each other, but Hashem is still able to make peace between them. This is also how it is to have a connection between the two extremes of from below to above and from above to below. Because Hashem is completely removed, He's separate from the world. There's no scale of comparison to Hashem. It's like a droplet of water in the ocean. And the worlds are a level of, they have a sense of self and a distinction. And in order to have an investment of Irein Seif, of divinity, of Hashem, in this droplet of a world, that there's literally no scale of comparison to Hashem. You need to have, it's forced that there should be drawing of Hashem's pleasure. That He should have pleasure in drawing the tipa, and being drawn into the world. This pleasure is the concept of a shir. That from this you're able to make the shalom, you're able to make the peace, the connection between the mashpia and the makabel. And it should be asher l'shleimei. Because in the word shleima itself, it actually alludes to a combination of the masculine and the feminine. It's not just shalom, it's shleimei. It's shleimei with a chaylam. Sometimes people pronounce it as shleima, but it's the nikul is shleimei. Melech Shashalim Shaloi. It refers to the king that peace is to him. Who am shachas tipas dechar. This refers to the drawing of the droplet of masculinity. V'gam shleima behei. But even though it's pronounced shleima as it would be with a vav, but it's still spelled shleima with a hey. Mira lashon nekeva. It refers to the lashon nekeva. So he bechinas alav shemilamato l'mayla. This is the level of drawing from below to above, or elevating from below to above. That through this connection, through connecting the concept of drawing down from above and elevating, we're able to draw the level of Shir Hashirim, the song of all songs. What causes all of this? What it continues in the pasuk, it says, kiss me with kisses from your mouth. Because the drawing of the level of Shmei Gadol, which we explained in a space, to draw down level to level, which we're explaining now through the unity of the different kinds of yearning and elevation. So it's called the level of Nishikin, of kisses. Gilei Ava Primis, it's like the revelation of an inner love, like the love of a father to his only son, that because of he's completely covered inside with love, and it's like a burning fire. It's not able to be revealed in a normal sense. Only through a very great contraction that is drawn down into the breath of the mouth and the spirit of his mouth. Even though the kissing of the father to the son is a physical action, how could you say that the love of a father is contained within a kiss? Nevertheless, with this particularly is how you reveal the inner love of the father. There's nothing the father could say, there's nothing the father could do that expresses it other than a kiss. This is also how it is. This is also how it is that this yearning and this pleasure that Hashem has, that there should be an investment of His light in the world, in the tipa and the ashpa, in that which is brought down into the Torah, ultimately that it should come down and be invested in the world. It's in a way of leaping and jumping, not in the way of the order of descent. It's in a very great contraction. Yeshiv Esik B'Torah Chulu is like Hashem Kaviyachol sits and he learns Torah in order to be invested in the world. That his name is praised and beautified until no end. And this is what we explain this in a space. This is what it means when it says that by day Hashem commands His kindness, and by night He sings with me. By day when you're not working in Torah, it draws down upper kindness in every day, in a drawing from above to below. As the Chachamim say in Masechus Avodah Zarah, that for the first 3 hours of the day Hashem sits and He works in Torah. The second group of hours He sits and He judges. The third group of hours He sits and He sustains. This is to say that Hashem is investing Himself in what He brings out into the world. So just to say what that is ultimately is saying that these levels of hours, that what Hashem is doing in each group of hours, is ultimately talking about how the Hamshacha, that which is being run from Hashem, gets lower and lower, ultimately reaching towards the world. So just a few Maimarim that discuss these concepts. So that was all Yemim Misav Hashem Chasdei. But by night He sings with me. This is the song of the angels that they sing from below, reaching towards above. This is after the Yidden worked Kaviyachol with Hashem, that kindness should be drawn down into the world. It says Shiro with a hey. You can't hear on the recording, but it says Shiro with a hey. Shirei is how it's pronounced, like we said with Shleiman. This is like the concept of the unity of the masculine and the feminine that we mentioned before. This is also why it says in Shir Hashirim, it says pihu with ending with a hey and a vav. It doesn't just say hey, but it doesn't just say piv, but the hey, it's adding a hey, which is to allude to the unity that you have of the masculine and the feminine. And that's an ice